Hey, what's up? If you fired up Gran Turismo 7 and noticed the new 1.66 patch rolling in, this update might look small at first glance, but it actually touches a few areas that can change the way you drive, tune, and race. One of the first things people will notice is the fix for the multiplayer lobby issue. That annoying problem where only the first page of lobbies would load is finally gone, which means browsing and joining online sessions doesn't feel broken anymore. If you've been bouncing between different lobbies looking for the perfect one, this alone makes the experience smoother and less frustrating. But the real meat of this patch is what it does to driving inputs, specifically the manual downshift behavior. The game now blocks extremely high RPM downshift attempts that were being used as a kind of rotation trick or braking exploit. Players who relied on aggressive downshifts to yank the car into rotation or bleed off extra speed are going to feel this immediately. It forces a return to more disciplined braking technique rather than relying on quick, borderline, unrealistic gear drops. You'll probably find yourself adjusting braking points slightly and being a bit more mindful of timing because the car simply won't let you pull that move anymore. From there, things get even more interesting with the car-specific physics adjustments. The Hyundai N 2025 Vision Gran Turismo GR1 and the Aston Martin Valkyrie both received changes to their engine flywheel inertia, and that's one of those tweaks that sounds tiny but has a noticeable effect on responsiveness. Changing flywheel inertia alters how quickly the engine revs, rise, and fall, which in turn affects throttle modulation and how the car behaves on corner exit. You might feel the car respond a little differently under load, maybe a bit more or less eager to pick up revs, which means your timing on acceleration could shift by just enough to matter. The performance points on these cars have also been recalculated to reflect the new behavior. Suspension changes also hit a handful of models, like the Jaguar Vision Gran Turismo lineup and the Volkswagen IDR 19. These adjustments can influence everything from turn-in sharpness to mid-corner balance and overall stability. If you've spent time tuning these cars, don't be surprised if your setups feel a little off now. Small suspension changes can throw off an otherwise perfect tune, so it's worth doing a few laps to feel out what's changed. Sometimes these updates subtly correct quirks that players have worked around for a while, and sometimes they create new ones, so your old muscle memory driving these cars may need a refresh. Another interesting part of the update is the AI balancing tied to the Power Pack content. Rival cars have been tuned so their pacing and behavior feels more natural and more competitive. If you've been grinding those races or creating content around them, expect opponents to behave a bit differently. Some might be slightly faster, some might be less erratic, and the overall race flow could feel more polished. It's the kind of tweak you only fully appreciate after a few races. But it has a real impact on the vibe of the events. Wheel players also get something out of this patch thanks to refined force feedback. Even subtle changes can make your steering feel more alive or slightly different in weight, and that affects how confidently you push the car. If your wheel suddenly feels a little off, it's not you. The game is just interpreting forces differently now. Running a couple laps and fine-tuning your wheel settings afterward is definitely worth the effort to get that perfect feel again. As for the download itself, players on different platforms have reported different sizes, smaller on PS4, larger on PS5, but nothing huge or painful to install. It's one of those updates that arrives quietly but leaves a noticeable footprint once you start driving again. When you put everything together, 1.66 is a polish update that focuses on realism, balance, and smoothing out some rough edges. It doesn't reinvent anything, but it does tighten the experience in ways that both competitive and casual players will pick up on. The changes to downshifting, car physics, AI, and FFB all push the game toward a cleaner and more consistent driving feel. And that's the kind of improvement that sticks long after the patch notes fade from memory.